Okay, so this is kind of a difficult video to make because this is something that I've experienced over and over, and I want to share this experience, but I also don't want anyone to like see this video and think, oh, Jermaine just doesn't like locals and Jermaine doesn't like hanging out with local people. It's totally not where I'm going here. I just would like to share my experience and some things I've noticed from traveling abroad. So, yeah, let's just jump right into this. The problem with hanging out with locals when traveling. What up, internet world? It's your boy Jermaine, and back with another video. And yeah, this is something I have noticed. Like, I'm someone who's been traveling quite a bit. I've been on the road for, I don't know, some time, and I go here and there and I meet people all the time. And you know, I read a lot of comments and people say, you should hang out with local people. You should hang out with local people. You should go to the local places. You should do the local things, and you should. And all of this is very important. It is amazing to hang out with local people. Some of my best experiences I've ever had in countries have been with local people. They've been with people that they know the area. They know the places to go. And that's all great and dandy. But then there's sort of this downside about hanging out with locals that I don't think people really talk about. People don't really share the experience, because a lot of people only talk about the great parts of traveling. I don't imagine most people would experience this because I don't think most people travel like as much as like I do. I'm a digital nomad. I travel all the time, country to country, and I'm constantly meeting people, and it's amazing. It's amazing always meeting people in different places and always making connections. And if I go here, I know people there, and if I go there, I know people here. But on the flip side, when you meet locals aren't travelers, okay? When I travel, I typically like to meet other travelers. To be 100% honest, I would love to go to places and like literally just meet other travelers. Because one thing about other travelers, there's a lot to learn from other travelers. I have been influenced so much from other travelers to travel other places, because I'll go and meet someone maybe at a hostel or maybe at a coffee shop, or just I'll meet another traveler abroad and we'll sit down and talk, and they'll usually talk about places that they have visited, maybe on this trip that they're on, or maybe it was a place that they visited a year ago or whenever ago. But they'll talk about places that they visit, and they'll talk about their experiences. And me as a traveler, that's very, very important, because that is what influences me to travel. When I meet people and they say, oh yeah, I just got back from here and it was really, really amazing. And I'm thinking, oh, it was? I didn't think that country would be amazing at all. I've really never heard much about that country. So right off the bat, I'm learning things from travelers about other places, and now that this is influencing me to travel and go to other places. When I first took my first trip outside of the US, I went to Paris, France. And that trip changed my life. That trip completely changed my life, because I met so many people and they were talking about different experiences that they had in other parts of the world. I remember meeting this girl. She was telling me how she lived in Australia for a year and how she loved Australia. She was telling me how expensive Australia was. Then the same girl was talking about how she went to the UK and she really, really liked the UK. And then she was talking about how she was backpacking through Africa. And I'm just thinking, you're a girl and you're doing all this traveling and you're doing all these different things. This is just really, really amazing. And now, what does this have to do with local people? Because I'm just talking about travelers and different places that travelers are going to. Well, local people don't typically have the same experience. What local people have is they have the local places they live in. And one thing that I notice a lot with local people is local people don't typically have time like your typical traveler does. They just don't typically have the time. What do I mean by that? Wow, on this trip on this trip that I'm on right now, I purposely wanted to go to like 2 different countries just to like meet up with locals and do certain things with locals. But the problem I've noticed is locals have jobs. Locals typically have a life. And what I mean by a life, they have things like they have a family. They have, maybe they work Monday through Friday, so they're off on the weekends. So the weekend rolls around and people have to do laundry. People have to get themselves ready for the next week. People have to go to the grocery store. People have to do different things. People go to church. They have all sorts of events. You know, if you live in a place and you're not a traveler, you're probably really ingrained in that place that you live in, and you probably have a lot of things going on in that place. So when you meet another traveler, you know, yeah, it's really awesome to hang out with another traveler, but then at the same time, most locals are just, they're just used to their life there. And I've been traveling for quite a bit, and I've had, like I said, I've had amazing time with locals, but I've also had I've also been flicked out by locals a whole lot, and it's just not the greatest experience, especially when you travel to a place to hang out with someone and then you just don't hang out with them. For example, when I went to Australia, I was supposed to like link up with a lot of skaters, and it was also this girl I met, and we were gonna hang out and chill, and we're gonna explore and travel around Australia. Well, when I got to Australia, it was nothing like I imagined, like nothing at all. I saw the girl for one day, and I stayed in Australia for an entire month. And I did meet up with a lot of skaters, but once again, skaters, they just can't skateboard like all day like me. I guess in New York, it's an exception, because I went to New York about 2 years ago, and I literally hung out with skaters that only thing they did was skateboard all day, like literally all day. Like I literally had people to hang out with, like, and they were local and they lived in New York, but they're just the type of people that they worked on the internet or their trust funds, or they just didn't have jobs, and they were just able to skate and hang out all day. And I got to Australia, it was nothing like that. On the weekends, I met a lot of skaters, but during the week, it was you know, it's kind of quiet. People have lives, people have things to do, people have bills to pay. People just have a different life. Not everyone is a digital nomad. Not everyone works on the internet. Not everyone has the freedom and flexibility to take off and travel like someone like myself do. And I totally understand this. Even when I go back to my hometown, oh my gosh, this is like amazing. Like, I tell myself this every time I go home. I tell myself, don't get mad if you don't see anyone. Just don't get mad, because let's just use this for an example. Let's say I go to my hometown on Monday and I plan to stay for an entire week. What typically happens is this: I'll fly into my hometown, I'll check in on Facebook when I'm at the airport, and I'll get this long list of people saying, oh, let's hang out, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this. Years ago, when I would travel back home and I would check in on Facebook and see all the comments, I would get really excited, because I'm like, yes, this is going to be fun, this is going to be great, this is going to be fun. But what usually happens is, you know, I check in on Facebook on Monday, I get all these comments. On Tuesday, you know, I don't really see anyone. I, see my parents and stuff like that, see my brother, see a few cousins or something. You know, Tuesday rolls around, Wednesday rolls around, Thursday rolls around, Friday rolls around. Well, I'm still there. By the time Friday rolls around, I'm just a little on the bored side, you know. I'm just like, yeah, family's great, but it would be cool to go party with some friends that I used to hang out with back in the day. It'd be cool to do some young stuff. But don't get me wrong, family's great. We can hang out with family. Saturday rolls around, maybe I, go hang out with a friend. Maybe we go do some random stuff. Sunday rolls around. Yeah, everybody's off work on Sunday, but once again, Sunday's that day that, people go to church, people get themselves ready for the week. People are just preoccupied on Sunday. Monday rolls around, I check in on Facebook a couple hours before I get ready to leave. And I say, oh, getting ready to go back to California. I had an amazing time in Memphis. And then that's when my phone starts to ring. Oh my gosh, are you leaving? I thought you were going to be here longer. I didn't get a chance to see you. I didn't get a chance to hang out. What are you doing right now? Let's go have breakfast. Let's go have breakfast. And literally right before I go to the airport, there are like 5 people that want to come hang out and want to come hang out and chill and want to say bye and want to catch up and like I want to see you. Let me just give you a hug. I haven't seen you in 5 years. And I say to myself, I'm not gonna see anybody because I've been here for a week and none of you guys have called me. And now I'm getting ready to go. And everybody I know is just coming out of the woodworks and everybody wants to say, what's up, what's going on, how are you? All the people that didn't do it before. And usually I just cut my phone off, because I'm like, look, I'm getting ready to go and I'm yeah, I do want to go have breakfast, and I want to go to the airport, and I just want to, get in that clear mindset and just get ready to go back to California. And this usually happens a lot whenever I go back home. And it's to the point now that next time I go back home, I actually don't think I want to even tell people. I think I just want to keep it on the DL. Like I want to see people, but then at the same time, they're just busy. They just have a different life. And that's just really what it boils down to. When you are a full-time traveler and you constantly go to different places and you constantly see different things and you're constantly around different people, you just notice that everybody just doesn't live the same way that you do, or I do in this scenario. And this is just something that, it's sort of taken a toll on me in the past. So nowadays when I go back home, I just kind of don't expect to see like anybody I know, excluding my family and, close family. I have a bunch of cousins, and most people follow me on Facebook and YouTube, so they know what I'm up to and they know I'm doing good, and that's just kind of how it is. When I'm out backpacking and traveling, sometimes it's really nice to meet local people, and sometimes I really want that local experience in certain places. Now, usually when I'm in a big city, I don't really care about the local experience as much, and if it's a new city that I've never been to, a lot of times I just want to explore it like a tourist. I've hung out with many local people in many different cities around the world, and they have told me that, hey, you've introduced me to things in my city, in my country that I've never heard of before. Because local people typically do the local things. If you come to San Francisco and you hang out with me and we go around San Francisco, I'm going to show you certain things that if you go hang out with another local, they may not even show you. They may show you something completely different. And if you go hang out with a bunch of tourists, you may see a different part of San Francisco that I've never seen before. So hanging out with locals is great, but then at the same time, you must realize that local people are locals, and that's okay. It's just going to be a different experience. I've met people traveling in one particular country, and then we've met up in another country, and then I've met up in their home country, and I've just had a blast, and they've showed me things that I have never ever seen before, things that have just wowed me. But on the flip side, it's not always gonna be that way. I think I've kind of got a little comfortable because I've definitely met locals and went visit them in their home countries, and I've definitely met locals in a particular country, and they've showed me around, and it's just been great. It's just been amazing. At the end of the day, you should really take this video with a grain of salt, because this is just my experience and it could be totally different for you. Like I say, I've met locals and had an amazing time with them. For example, when I was in Israel, I believe this is why I liked Israel so much, is because I met a local, and this local showed me a lot of things that I never would have experienced, and I never would have seen as a backpacker, as a tourist. And also, if I would have met another traveler, we together would not have seen many of the things that this local was able to show me. But then on the flip side, if I would have met another traveler, who knows what we could have ended up doing, But that's just how it is. Sometimes when you travel, local people are amazing, local people are awesome, and sometimes when you travel, local people are just really busy and they just have other things going on in their life, and that's just how it is. I just kind of wanted to make a sit-down video sort of talking about this, because it's something that I have noticed, and right now I'm in another country. I'm in a different country. I know you guys think I'm in Turkey, but I'm actually not in Turkey anymore. And I am in the process of meeting up with some locals, and it is it's not going so great. And I'm not staying at a backpacker's place to meet other travelers, so I am in a new place, and I'm kind of just at this Airbnb all alone, and I'm not really complaining. I'm having a good time. I'm definitely getting a lot of things knocked out on the computer, working on a whole bunch of stuff. But, I'll probably go out and explore later. Earlier today was quite chilly, and now it looks like the sun is out. And I think I'm going to go out around 6 p.m. and go explore again. I was out earlier. I grabbed some lunch. And this particular place that I'm in right now, not too many people speak English. So it's a little difficult just talking to random people on the street. And once again, I'm not in a I'm not like at a backpacker's place, so there's not other tourists around, and I'm pretty much staying in a very, very local neighborhood. People downstairs don't speak English, people at the store don't speak English. Majority of the people around here don't speak English. The Uber drivers don't speak English. I've taken a handful of Ubers in this new country, and it has been a very, I don't know, it's just been a very different trip. So I just thought I would talk about, meeting locals in different countries, and cross my fingers that I'm able to meet some locals in this new place, because this is a very interesting country, I must admit. You guys will find out what country I'm in very soon. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap this video up. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace out, yo.